Good morning, Robert and Debbie. This is Jaime Cortez with Marsh McLennan Agency here in Yakima, Washington. Um, we were formerly Payne West Insurance, right? It was over a year ago that I stopped by your house and you guys were out in the field that you're working on something. And so I dropped off some information about Apiculture, which is a rain index plan of insurance for beekeepers, honey producers, pollinators, and been trying to follow up with you since then. And then recently stopped in again, dropped off some information to you and some more analysis on that. And so I just wanted to provide you with some information and some more analysis on that, so you can view this video at your convenience. Ponder over it. I mean, there's with this particular product or insurance plan, sales closing date isn't until December, so we're looking at the 2025 crop year. So we've got some time to discuss. We're not able to sell this yet until September of this year. So we have from September to December basically to make a decision if you want to move forward with the analysis. And many beekeepers, honey producers, pollinators are utilizing this federal crop insurance because it is supplementing, some losses, with rain and with lack of rain. What does that do to crops? What does that do to forage for bees, your operation? So this plan of insurance helps with that. Some use it to help minimize some of the losses. Some use it to grow their operations, but I'll share with you how it works. On the screen right now is kind of a map of Yakima County, but in particular, this grid here, 31838, this is kind of where you are in Sela. Grid 31538, this is kind of White Swan, Wapato. Grid 31539 is your Wapato Toppenish, and then 31540 is Granger. And so we can look at any location, any grid throughout the United States, multiple states. And so this rain index, it breaks up land into grids, right? 12 by 12 miles approximately. So 640 acres per square mile. And so, 144 square miles, you're looking at, 96,000 acres within one grid. And so we look at where your colonies are throughout the year. And so I want to show you analysis that I did in grid 31838, 31538 in that White Swan area, and then 31540 kind of in that Granger area. And again, we can look at any other locations that you might be interested in where your colonies are throughout the year. So let me skip over these couple of pages and get to this page here. So this is grid 31. Let me move this out of the way. This is grid 31538. This is again in that Wapato, the White Swan area. Let me just double check. Yep, 31538. And so with rain index plan of insurance, the third-party data comes from NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And so they've been tracking data for 70 years, right? So they provide that information to the insurance companies, and the insurance companies have their own platforms to be able to run analysis and data. And so that's what I have for you here. So in grid 31538, and I selected a few intervals. Intervals are 2-month periods. And so you have to select at minimum 2 of those intervals. So 2-month periods. And at max, you can do 6 2-month periods throughout the year. And the calendar year is obviously January 1 through December 31st. But we locked this in before December 1st of the previous year. So again, we're looking at into the 2025 crop year. And so when looking at grid 31538, I've got a 10-year run here, 10-year history from 2015 to 2024. And what I want you to pay attention to are the, let me see if I can use a tool here. Here are the intervals that I selected, March, April, and 10%, basically 10% of your colonies will be in March, April, and then 50% of your colonies will be in June, July. 40% of your colonies will be in August, September. And so I'm just taking a rough estimate of 5,000 colonies. You may have more, you may have less. But I think when I ran into that, a couple of years ago, I think you mentioned you're around that, maybe more. I don't recall because it's been a while. But just looking at the intervals that I selected here, and then in this area, so from 2015 to 2024, and we're still in the 2024 year, right? So you're going to see some missing data here because the year's not over yet. Anywhere you see shades of purple, that means that you triggered a claim, basically. And so that's what we're trying to look for is triggering claims. So when the lack of rainfall or when the precipitation in that area is less than the historic average, the 90% of the historic average, that's where you're going to trigger a claim. And here in this column, the loss ratio, whenever we see a yellow row there, right? So 2015 to 2024, those rows are a year, each year. And so whenever we see yellow, that tells us that this strategy, 10% March, April, 50% June, July, 40% August, September, it tells us that paid out. So therefore you were owed an indemnity. The only year, so last year, 2023, it was a 55% loss ratio. So you would have still been paid something, but you would have had to pay a portion of your premium. But all of the other years from 2015 to 2024, you would not have had to pay a premium, and you would have collected. So this would have been your running total, right? So if we had this product, if we would have been doing the same strategy from 2015 to 2024, so far you would have netted 1.5 million in indemnities, right? That's net. Again, the only year that you would have paid a premium would have been 2023 last year, and that premium that you would have owed would have been $43,086, right? So it's a hefty premium for 5,000 colonies in 31538. The actual producer premium is your premium, right? If you were to do this, is $95,026 for this year or next year, excuse me. But in that 2023, you would have only paid 43,000 because there was still some rain, right? It wasn't completely dry. So you still would have been owed something, but you wouldn't have had to pay your full premium. But the rest of the years, so 2024, your net would have been 14,000. I know it's difficult to see. 2022 net would have been 58,000. 2021 and 2020, I mean, those are really big years. So net in 2021 was 226,000. Net in 20 would have been 272,000. 2019, 138,000. 2018, 248,000. Let's see if I can. There you go. That makes it easier. 2016, 150,000. Look, 2015, the net would have been 384,000. So loss ratio, again, look at the yellow. Those are the years that you would have been paid. So loss ratio, anything above 100% means that you got paid. So for every dollar you put into the program, you would get that much back. So 2024 so far, you would put $1 in, you'd get $2.83 back. 2022, you put $1 in, you get $1.61 back, right? So on and so forth. So that's for grid 31538. If you had all 5,000 colonies in that grid, kind of that white swan Wapato area. And you don't have to put all your colonies in one grid. We can mix and match, right? Because your colonies are going to be spread throughout the year in different locations. This grid, 31838, this is kind of in that SELA area. So March, April, 10%, June, July, 50%, August, September, 40%. And you can look here, so everything's a little bit different, right? So anywhere you see shades of purple, it's paid out, it's triggered. So from 2024 to 2015, here's your loss ratios paid out every year, except for this year, and the year's not over yet, right? So we're currently in the June, July interval, and we still have the August, September interval. So the February, March interval that we selected didn't pay out, but we still have the June, July interval to see if it's triggered, or if we will trigger a claim. But for this particular grid, 5,000 colonies, and we're still looking at a $1.6 million net from 2015 to 2024. Again, every year you can see how much the net would have been with this strategy. So 2015, 405,000, 2018, 276,000, even last year. And last year was, I would say there's a lot more precipitation last year too, but you still would have netted 38,000. So producer premium is $89,697 for 5,000 colonies in grid 31838. What I haven't mentioned yet with the federal crop insurance program is that the government also subsidizes a portion of your premium. In this particular plan, the government pays 51% of your premium. So the total premium, on 5,000 colonies in this grid, 31838, total premium is $183,053. They pay 51% of that, therefore your premium will be $89,697 in this grid for 5,000 colonies. When we go back up here, so the total premium on grid 31538 for 5,000 colonies is $193,932, but the government pays that 51%, and so that leaves you with your premium of $95,026. Excuse me. And then lastly is grid 31838. Let me go back, 31838. This is in the SELA area. I think I misspoke earlier. 31540, 31838, 31838. Well, I've got that one twice. But let me go here then. Since we're doing this live here, let's go 31540, 5,000 colonies. And then 31540. Okay. So we'll kind of do the same. Now let me see if this comes up. Apologize. I thought I already had that up and running. But I want to make sure that we've got, okay, there it is, 31540. And I probably already had it up actually, but I went too far ahead maybe. Nope. Okay. Here you go. You're 31540. Let me get my tool. 31540. So this is in that Granger area. Double check. Yeah, 31540. Yeah, right in here. So Granger area, 5,000 colonies. So this one selected March, April, June, July, and then August, September. Here's the loss ratios, right? So every year paid out except for this year, 2023, last year. And even that loss ratio is 94%. So the total premium that you would have owed if we would have done the strategy from 2015 to 2024 would be $5,935. That's all you would have paid since 2015. And so total, running total in this grid from 2015 to 2024 on 5,000 colonies is 1.7 million, right? So each year you can see what the indemnities were. So pretty significant. 2021, 257,000, 2020, 242,000, 2019, 158, 2018, 238,000. Let me increase that size there again. So this is Apiculture, rain index plan of insurance. And so I just wanted to kind of give you a quick view and glimpse of what it looks like, and the reason why I'm so persistent with trying to get this information to you. Many beekeepers throughout the country, pollinators, honey production, right? They are utilizing this plan because it works. And if you're not doing this, you want to look into it. And so I can meet with you in person to discuss this even further. But again, September is when we can begin to sell it for the 2025 crop year, and sales closing date is December 1st. So we've got time, but I definitely want to get this in front of you to talk about it, and see how it makes sense. And we can look at other locations wherever your bees are, your colonies are. They may perform just as good or better, or not as good, right? So again, we can look at all that. I just want to share this with you. I hope this makes sense for your operation, and I look forward to at least hearing back from you and having a conversation. It's worth a conversation. So please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Have a good day.